mages, to Will's 1. In the lower left-hand corner, we have ADR, who is also doing a solo red mage, and rolled the seeds. Since this is just a fun race, he could roll his own seeds, so the rest of the runners can all blame him for what transpires. And then in the lower right-hand corner, we have Goat's Pirate with 3 red mages, so we have no full parties. And as for our blessings, the red mage has plus 10 hit percent, plus 40 HP, but minus 10 vitality. And of course, there are other blessings for other classes, but they won't be showing up this evening.
My apologies all for the audio delay. Just going to redo the introduction here. My name is Thavian Hawk. With me, the man you were just hearing before, is my co-commentator Classic Gamer 76, with our trackers Forsaken Sadness and Wilhelm, and our restreamer Kumo. As Classic Gamer was pointing out, with these parties, they are all red mages, because they only have red mages, and they can only recruit red mages. So this is a all red mage race. I'm gonna love it, aren't you?
I am loving this. Of course, after every, formerly spring, now winter tournament, there's been a bonus race with, a class of, people's choosing. Of course, red mage is it this year because that was the last one, and we're off. So we have Will actually already heading in to get the King's item, and I saw Ruse at level 1. That's nice to see. And wow, we have a floater from the King. In Black Magic, we have Lightning 3, Saber, and Quad X.
Actually, excellent starting magic, given the fact that level 1 is just easy to get and affordable. And that early floater, well, I don't think there's any reason not to go to Provoca and then head straight down the waterway after they get rid of the initial fight here in Toph.
Yep, let's see, Pickles and Beers already headed that. We have Imps with Lightning 2. That tickles Pickles' party a little, but he gets away.
Well, ADR, our runner-up in the Winter Carnival Tournament, is the one who rolled this seed, let alone racing it, so those imps are his fault.
Yep.
Speaking of, he joining Pickles and Goat's Pirate in Toph, as we find that heal potion, that first lower Toph box. Looks like Will Bloodworth is picking up a saber to go along with that Thor hammer. That is their caster item.
I like that he could save some MP. The Saber plus 5, that's actually a pretty good weapon, especially early on.
And it's red mage wieldable, which is pretty much the only thing that matters otherwise.
And I think Imps, I also saw damage poison from them, so Will looks like he's skipping Garland and he's going straight to Provoca, or at least, heading over in the general area of Crescent Lake, which of course would swing by Provoca.
Or just getting that floater turn in, because he's already got it.
Yeah, well, Crescent Lake. I mean, Ryokan Desert is what I was thinking when I said Crescent Lake, because Crescent Lake's also on the way there. And Mad Ponies have a script themselves. I think I also saw stone poison out of the Imps. Goat's Pirates going to the King, picking up his floater and a slab from the Princess.
Well, that's an easy thing to check and then turn in, along with the easy check on Sarda once they get the floater, so that's not a horrible thing to see this early, given they have the floater on the way, but...
There's Warp at level 2. That puts early ice into play.
And it's more or less on the way, too, so you can't not like it. I mean, that also makes diving at the Temple of Ordeals a little simpler with the ability to warp back.
Yep, and see, ADR's checking out the hitbacks here. We're never going to remember that by Topher, but...
Not with 4 racers to track, and this is just the 4 racers on stream. We've got at least 6 racers competing in this event. All for fun.
Yep. See, ADR picked up the red mage that was with the King and Princess.
And Will Bloodworth taking care of the pirates, getting himself an apple. In this case, it is the ruby red apple for that Titan to consume. Houses, as we see, are not that expensive, only 1,200.
So that's good to see, especially good to... let's see, I didn't see this before. Gold -1 for 11k. That's, well, it's a little sad that it rolled down, but still, that's, early access to the gold bracelet, which will be one of the best armors, really, the Red Mage or Red Wizard can use.
Pretty much, and given the fact they have no other character classes they can pick up, any of that really high-end hardware that they can get for the fighter or the ninja, that's straight cash money for everything else they can buy.
Yep, of course, you see Harm 4 and Cure 2 most notably in level 2 white.
As we don't have a white mage, that Harm 4 is only really useful on the undead as it normally would be, but it's still a very powerful spell when you face those undead parties.
Yes, it is very powerful. Poor man's fade is one way to look at it. And we're going to ADR is about to take on the pirates.
Pickles picking up his wine glass, another ruby option. His traditional beverage options. And Will Bloodworth has bypassed ice. He's going straight down to get that floater, check that sage or the sages, and see where he goes from there.
Yep. So, meanwhile, like this, see Pickles and Beer picking up gloves +3. Gloves aren't generally that great, but +3, they're pretty decent armor. It'll serve you well until you can find a pro ring, and really, gloves and pro rings are the only hand armors the red mage can use.
Indeed, and ADR doing something he said he might do. He's picking up the red mage right next to Bicky. We have extra recruiting locations. In the tournament, it was just behind the fiends, but they are finding recruitable characters behind just about every turn-in or incentive pickup location.
Let's see. Pickles and Beer picking up his, warp at level 2. Of course, you also saw Temper there. That's very good to see.
Alleviates the need for the Saber Bonk if you have the cast for it. That's Fade and Life at level 6 in Crescent. And in fact, that Life should be Red Wizard learnable, so when they promote, and they will promote, they are probably going to come back and get that.
Yeah, well, Will's not going to because he has no need for life spells, but the others probably will. And we have a Canal from the Sages, which, okay, that's kind of a womp, but we will get the extra experience.
True, but that also means that Marsh and or Ice Cave are more likely to be something they need, because there's only one other Womp that they could find, and that is the boat.
Yes. So Will's making his way to the Ryukon Desert. She's an XP, and like, I don't need the experience.
Now, an interesting fun thing is, given that Will decided not to fight Garland, he doesn't even have the slab yet.
No, he does not. Of course, we'll see if he goes back to Toph at some point and does it, or I'm curious, he might do that after he gets the key and do it all in one shot. Of course, one of the things you fight Garland and the Princess warps you back to Canaria, your airship will still be at the Temple of Fiends. However, you can just use warp to get right back there, and they do have access to warp.
It is hilarious. The moment you find that out, you try and exit out, and you find yourself all the way back at Toph. And Will Bloodworth, he gets the Vanilla Rod out of Sarda, picks up a Ribbon +1 out of the Toph and of the Titan's Trove, and the Whistle. So that is the loot found already.
Yep. So they will need that, and of course, Ribbon's nice to see, and Dragon Armor +3, which, unfortunately doesn't add to the selling cost, but that is something they can vendor to get some quicker, easy cash.
Very true. Will Bloodworth getting those items, heading south. He's probably going to check this Cardia Forest stop. Or actually, no, he's just going straight down to the Titan's Trove. Just get everything in one go. It's a long walk, but he has warp to get out of there and gets more items this way.
Yes, and of course, if it just happens to be the tail back there, which we've seen a few times, then he can promote right then and there.
Lazy dragons. For those who weren't aware on the tournament earlier we have a trove. We get the cube out of there that has all of the Cardia Isle boxes mirrored behind Bahamut, so you can come here and as one location get all those chests. It's mostly because if you don't get the airship, we have this dock located here. You still have access to all of the Cardia incentive items and boxes and the like. It looks like Ghost Pirate stopped in, got that translation on the slab.
Yep, and Pickles and Beer picked up his rod from Sarda. He's going to give the Titan some wine. Titan's going to let him borrow a hairpiece. And to get his loot's also a whistle.
As Ghost Pirate is actually going down to Lefane. Will Bloodworth has exhausted all of his options and is going straight to deal with Garland finally.
Yep, so he's going to just lead off with some Quad X, and Garland is erased.
Now, for those who didn't hear earlier, since this is a Red Mage only race, the only blessings that matter are the Red Mage blessings. That is plus 10 hit percent. We get the Crystal out of the Lefanians. Plus 10 hit percent, plus 40 hit points, but a negative 10 Vitality. So these are going to be some squishy Red Mages.
Yeah, that could make for a pretty rough Topher, especially, if Kraken 2 is punchy, then, that could... so you got that level 1 Ruse, and of course there's both the Ruse staff and the defense sword out there, but
Now,
still at least get turn order.
Pickles and Beer checking in the armor shop finds silver armor plus 3. The Red Mages can wear that, so that's actually pretty much the best armor they can get. I think that might be as good, if not better, than that gold bracelet minus 1.
Yeah, I very well might be. I mean, because when it rolls up, that really is a nice bonus, and it'll be like plus 6 to absorb. And ADR, talking to the Hooray Dwarf, checks the chest and then leaves.
Will Bloodworth about to find that armor for his... Oh, selling the dragon armor, get some cash in there. But he did find himself walking all the way back up from the Castle Canaria to Toph to get his airship as he left there. And it looks like ADR going down to Marsh.
I saw Ghost Pirate picking up some spells. Notably was, Cure 4 is Red Mage learnable. Wall is not, so definitely want those ribbons. We've already found one. Pickles and Beer trying to serve up some sandwiches, but found them too chewy.
Well, luckily enough for him, we have the Adamant coming out of Marsh. That is actually an item that may be very valuable to have, and it's a quick turn in once they get out of there. But we have the Hospital, as well as the Inn and the Magic Superstore down in Lefane with these seeds. So he can pick a character back up if it stays dead and get re-healed up without having to use an item.
Yes, one of the many features our excellent devs have added to the game is the Lefanish Hospitality, where it adds those, which I love it. Healing up. Someone got killed on the way, you can bring them back up. We have Ghost Pirate making his way through ordeals with early warp and multiple warp casters. This, isn't going to be too bad. And
a super short one. That was awesome. And you got the first pillar, the second pillar is the correct pillar, it seems. That's one nice thing about the randomized pillar maze. You can actually get a randomized pillar maze that cuts out multiple rooms.
Yes, the Seeds is like, I'm going to give them warp and a nice short pillar maze because do you have warp? And let's see, we have the key from Smithy McBird's store. We have a key made of adamant, so that means Marsh is required because we need the key to make our way through Topher.
And with that key, ADR going to go ahead and go to Castle Canary or raid that incentive item out of the armory.
Yep, we have, still a bunch of incentives out there. We could, the Oxiel, there's the Chime, there's the incentive Vorpal, incentive Ribbon. Looks like the crown is still on the table. And the battle is also on the table, and that's what you get out of Castle Canaria.
Well, that's a reason to go up to Gaia. We have not seen the shop item just yet. And ADR, having picked up 2 red mages so far, is picking up those saber spells and any other level 1 cast magic he wants for those characters. Will Bloodworth giving a bit of a hooray dwarf hooray as Argoyles for Ghost Pirates not doing his party any favors.
Nope.
Neither of these Blizz Wolves with heat on Pickles and Beer's side.
Well, that is not the thing you'd expect out of a Werewolf. And Blaze, I mean, those are some, obviously, being cold wolves, I guess they need some ways to heat themselves up. And Ghost Pirate taking on some sorcerers, which, with non-elemental trance and
Will
Death Touch were
Bloodworth picking up
terrible.
the power bonk out of the dwarf horde, so that saves him those saber charges at level 1.
Yes, that's going to be very useful. And we get the chimes out of our deals for all our trials and tribulations, especially with the ARG oils, because ARG is what runners see when they. It is the sanitized version of what runners might say when they see them. You can't repeat what they might otherwise say on the air.
True. And with that, with the key coming out of Marsh and the cube we know is in Lefane, that would give us go mode for any of those runners who make the trip tour deals and gets those picked up with Stardust. So we only need 2 dungeons other than Volcano, which they already have unlocked, but they could do from the get-go, to have the 3 necessary orbs to get into Topher. This is the lower bracket set or rules, so they need 3 orbs, but they don't need any 3 specific ones.
Let's see, we get a incentive ribbon out of the prince, and Metoya had the crown, so that opens up northwest. Especially if you have the key, you can also check Astos' closet, maybe find a good grind tile.
Which is what Pickles is on his way to do, deal with an Astos, as Will Bloodworth is back in Toph, checking Toph locked.
Yep, I like this. You know, those are better trap chests, so you've often seen nice things behind the Toph lock, you know, katanas, which of course we can't use, but...
Vorpal +2, they can definitely use that. That is a huge relief from our runners, given the fact that they don't have the Masa in this seed. That's basically the best weapon they can give that, except maybe, well, yeah, that's probably the best weapon they'll get.
Yeah, that's probably the best weapon to get, unless something like Sun +5 comes. But even a Sun +5 is not going to have the crit rate of the Vorpal. And one of the things I noticed, Locke is actually Red Wizard learnable. That was slot 1, level 6. He had, you know, other nice spells just sitting there that couldn't be learned. But, you know, you can get some pretty evasive fiends in these flag sets.
Will Bloodworth finding an opal armor rolled up in that bottom Toph lock. Not useful, given the fact that they can't wear anything above silver armor. But who knows? They might find that opal ring or opal bracelet somewhere. And there's the TNT for 32,000 in Elfland.
Yep. So it looks like the elves are pricing things out of the dwarves' reach, but you know, sell some of the opal armor, dragon armor. Now you may be able to afford some TNT if you're the light warriors.
Everyone knows elves and dwarfs don't often get along.
That's true. I think it was the whole Faxanadu incident.
Will Bloodworth trying to run away and saying, nope, not going to bother with that zombie mummy pack that's guarding these Toph chests. Great experience, but a lot of bodies and a lot of cast that he doesn't want to deal with at the moment.
Yes, I mean, those are great for a full party grind, but of course Will especially is going to want something that's better for a single character, such as an eye or something like that.
And Goat's Pirate, having gone other places, is now going Marsh. Going to get that adamant to the key, which is going to be huge.
All right, and Will having a bit of trouble again with that mummy pack.
As ADR joins him in Toph, gonna check these, gonna find that pack, and may well just go after it, because enough light 3 casts is gonna be enough to deal with that pack and get some pretty solid experience early.
Yes.
Well, relatively speaking, we're already 16 or 17 plus minutes into this race.
Yes, we haven't seen any really other great tiles yet.
And Pickles and Beer on the Onrak continent, our first man to get into the waterfall.
And mummies have zap. That's pleasant. Of course, we found 2 ribbons at this point, so it's really not that bad, especially if you don't have multiple characters. Although ADR is probably not sure what he killed off his 2 red mages, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was that zap. And Ghost Pyre picks up his key.
Let's see what the robot's packing for us. Mudgull tile in the room with the robot. Not too shocking to see them in, but weird to see that tile specifically.
Yep. And we have the tail from the robot. Yep. So, while waterfall not required, we definitely want it because we want to take advantage of, you know, promo lock spells. We want to take advantage of that Vorpal.
Also getting a Pro Ring +4 out of there. That is excellent to see, especially when they find where they can buy those for any of them runners that isn't Will Bloodworth who will have more than one Red Mage.
All right, Pickles and Beer are going to leave the Onrak continent. He doesn't have the Oxale, so there's no reason to hang around. And honestly, he's probably not going to come back if he can avoid it. And he can avoid it.
At this point, I'm assuming it's going to be Sky, Sky, Sky with a bit of dirt diving and some volcano action as far as the three places they will be going. I can assume that at this point, Oxyale's behind whatever the marsh cave is, if it's not in marsh itself.
Yep, and in Astos's Closet, the only grind we saw was the same one that was on, or very similar one that's giving Will Bloodworth all this trouble.
And the Seafood Sparty Pack. That's not the nicest thing to see, but with enough lit casts, you can definitely get through it.
Yes, I mean, Lightning 3 against water creatures will actually have a higher base damage than Fade because of the bonus. But, lobsters always hit hard, and they usually seem to come with something nasty. The only place I like seeing a lobster is on my dinner plate.
Will Bloodworth finally making it through that tile to find those two chests in Toph and finding an opal shield that rolled down and something else that didn't matter. He just reset out. ADR also leaving. Will Bloodworth going to check those locked chests in Northwest Castle as ADR is diving for the waterfall to get his tail.
Yep, Ghost Pirate looks like he's taking that Seafood Party Pack. He's got 3 Lightning 3 casters, so since I like this play, I mean, you can get some levels there.
It's definitely not a bad play, and with the rod in hand, it's an easy run down to deal with some speed bump action. I don't hate it at all. Pickles also on his way into ordeals, hopefully going to find that quick pillar 2.
But meanwhile, passing on the Zombies, even though those are pretty good experiences, checking that one trap tile is like only Sphinxes, nothing special there.
Not a bad trap tile to check. It's relatively easy to get to, all things considered. And he finds that pillar 2 and gets on to the final floor.
Yep, also finds some zombie dragons, and those are pretty decent experience, so he's going to try to burn them down with some fire too.
Will Bloodworth checking the black magic here, and Gaia finding level 8 nuke, and is like, nope, not gonna get that.
Yep, I'm pretty sure he's checking that just for kicks, just to see what he's not getting. We have a wet herb out of the fairy.
Which, if I remember correctly, leads to the ribbon.
Yes, that led to the ribbon.
Thank you to our trackers.
Yes. So that's, normally not disappointing when you see a ribbon, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be a womp womp for Will because he has one character and already has a ribbon.
Indeed. He will be in go mode the moment he checks with this Lefanian, however. He will be the first one on stream to at least be there.
Only need one to win.
Oh, correction, he gets the crystal hair. I was thinking it was the chime.
Yes, that was... Oh, Metoyo's leading to the crown, which is leading to... I mean, this is not going to put him in go mode, but he's going to be very happy to see the Vorpal, at least once he dives waterfall and gets his tail.
Yeah, ordeals, the chime, my mistake.
And ADR is going to check Bahamut. He's going to get his chime. He's not going to get the tail that he's probably wanting, but still, that'll give him full sky access.
ADR got the tail out of the waterfall and got the cube earlier, so that was what was down here.
Oh, okay, that wasn't on the trackers. I mean, the trackers have a lot to track with 4 racers, so, I'm not going to miss it.
Yeah, I was mistaken with the chime. They got it correct. The chime is in ordeals. Pickles is about to pick that up.
Yep, and Will finding the bad news that there will be no fast for you, the seed.
that little 10% boost to hit that they've got as their one good blursing to counteract the negative 10 vitality. I mean, those extra hit chances and, well, magic is your primary route.
Yes, I mean, one thing is they will not also have access to Brack, so X for Brack strats are off the table.
I know some people in the community don't like the instant kills on the, or just random instant kills on the fiends, but it's still hilarious when it happens. It's a
Oh, it's
Blue D in the vampire closet.
that's
Goes,
something potential for a single character grind. I mean, it's not the best, but if you can't find an eye or something, it's serviceable.
true, and that tile is also the third tile on first floor that you can check, so it is accessible from a one-level dive situation.
Yes, and it'll be on a safe tile as well. So Will's about to check the prints, and he's going to find out. Oh, here's another ribbon you don't need, but he does keep it.
Well, it's a whole lot of gold, but he's also going to check what these... He might just reset out of here once he finds basically nothing in their treasury, too.
That is true. A giant sword +3 is something, but it's not much.
Well, he's going to take it. He hasn't stopped turning the crystal to get that Vorpal. That is most likely his next step. And Ghost Pirates in Earth is checking the Earth Armory as ADR is checking the dwarves and is about to pick up himself a power bonk.
Yep, and Will is checking Matoya, finding, nothing much. And getting his crown, which of course leads to that Vorpal. Right? Really nothing much in the Earth Armory for Ghost Pirate, at least that I saw, so he may or may not check out Lich's Closet, just kind of depends on how well equipped he feels.
And Pickles, our first person to actually purchase the TNT at 3,200 out of Elfland. He's going to be able to check out what that or what's next to the armory.
Looks like he's heading right there now, so he's going to go turn that in, see what he has. Well, first he's also going to get the other treasure boxes, which is nothing much, but doesn't hurt to check, and he talks to the Hooray Dwarf.
This could be two things. This could either be Oxyale or it could be the Womp of the boat. If it's the boat, that means Oxyale is probably in ice. No, boat is in ice, it seems.
Yep, so Ice Cave not required, so the early ice potential really would not have been... once you saw the floater, of course, that directed all the runners away from it, but early ice would not have been the play regardless.
And Pickles on his way to Marsh, gonna get the Adamant, back to Dwarfs and get straight into go mode. With that promoted party of 2 red wizards, he's got access to more magic. He's got that much better situation, but
Alright, meanwhile, Goat's Pirate is making his way through Earth. Lightning 3 is not too effective against oozes, so he just gets out of there.
And ADR is on the Titan, or Tunnel of Giants, on Earth 1, checking the tiles, taking some zombie Ds as we see a speed bump for Goat's Pirates.
Yes, do not blink because you probably won't see a speed bump for too long. Do temper to his 291, the speed bump's still there, and it's spitting out some fire too. And some lightning too, so which is like, look at my spells!
Well, that is a speed bump gone for Goat's Pirates, and our first orb lit on stream as Pickles actually got bounced out of Marsh. Found some ghouls that were running heal 3 just to waste time.
Oh yes, those are the worst when you have some monsters that just do that. And of course, just like later games, of course, that would be hurting the ghouls. It would be helping you, but in this one, the cure spells cure everything, including the undead.
Will Bloodworth making his way through the maze relatively easily, getting his items. This will put him in go mode, but he will really want that tail and that would send him to Onrak. I don't know if he wants to go to Onrak. He knows where, I believe he knows where the TNT is. He might just go to Elfland and get that turned in.
Yep. I mean, he might, of course, you haven't seen anything like a Sun +5 or even like an Ice +5, which would be, pretty tempting to use if you didn't have access to the Vorpal.
This is very true.
Of course, Will is not fond of the Vorpal, so I think if he finds something else that he can use, he's probably going to. He might even throw Vorpal out of Sky 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
I mean, just either chuck it back in the past, like you'd open up the ferry just to torture, or throw it straight down from the sky and hope it doesn't hit anyone down below. ADR finding that blue D as Pickles picks up his power gauntlet, having picked up the key with that adamant turn, and he is in go mode.
Alright, Ghost Pirate getting away from the Mud Gulls. He's about to pick up his tail. He's going to be happy to see that.
As Will Bloodworth makes it out of Ordeal's in go mode himself, sans the tail. Still has to go to the Omnic Continent for that. And ADR is taking this Blue D fight.
Blue Ds can be pretty decent experience, although they are pretty evasive and they're, making him use some charges. So I don't know how many he will take, and they also hit really hard.
And have Poison Touch, it seems. With that Cure 4, however, full restores health and eliminates status effects, so that's Poison Be Gone. And a Rune +2, a solid sword option.
Yes, that is a very solid sword option. You get the bonus for that, and it will hit 3 of the 4 fiends in Topher, everyone except Kraken.
The anti-magic weapon.
Pickles and Beer picking up his bottle, so he's probably going to check out the ferry at some point, which will, of course, lead him eventually to the incentive ribbon.
I can imagine he'll check that out, and then he might just proximity Sky. Unless he, well, yep, he's going to go for that turn-in. He wants to get every turn-in he can, because the more incentive items they have, the more experience they get from their grinds when they take them, or overworld grinds, and they really do need to get levels on these characters with that negative vitality.
Yes, they do. Meanwhile, Ghost Pirate turns in his tail, gets promoted. He also picks up his cube, so that will give him access to Sky. And Will is going into Ice. This is interesting. I wonder if he's just looking for a grind tile, or he might still be thinking that, he might probably thinking that the tail or something that leads to it might be in. And he just found an Ice +5 sword.
That makes that dive a little bit more palatable. It's substantially better than that Giant's +3, and even compared to the Vorpal, an Ice +5 could be a solid option.
Yes, and he does not need to promote to wield that. And, Red Mages, interestingly, don't gain any extra armor through promotion. That's mainly Knights and Ninjas. Of course, you have the white and black shirt, so he has no reason armor-wise to promote.
And that is very true. The only thing he could gain with the promotion would be access to more spells, and if he's keeping this solo Red Mage, which he is likely to do, that just means he doesn't get access to life.
Yes, and he doesn't need life with a single character. Alright.
And Ghost Pirate's getting that herb as Will Bloodworth makes his decision as to where he's going.
Yep, or at least seems to, and then he considers it again.
And ADR still going on those blue Ds in Earth. Picking up that Zeus Bonk and heading to deal with a vampire as our first drop and run into the Mirage Tower from Goat's Pirate.
See if there's anything good here. Of course, with no thieves in the seed, the katana's probably a +5.
I could imagine Will Bloodworth will just, if he sees that and it's anything plus, he's just going to stare at it for a moment, just going, why don't I have my thief?
Most likely.
He is well known in the community for being a thief stand.
Not just thief, solo thief. That was people the first bonus race he did a solo thief, and that was before all the additions were made to the thief, like the extra hit percent and lockpicking and evasion fixes.
Pickles getting that incentive ribbon for his second mage.
Yep, ADR. There was a blue flash on the screen. It was distinctly vampire shaped, but that's all I saw.
And Will Bloodworth is taking the Sky play as well if he's going to be doing this. Oh, there's a Roost Stick, an excellent pick out of greater than less than, along with the third ribbon. So that is all 3 ribbons.
Yeah.
And a Roost Stick for Ghost Pirate. That is excellent kit. The only thing he is missing from the endgame panoply would be the defense sword and the white shirt at this point.
Yep. Meanwhile, Will Bloodworth has seen the legendary blue stake, and he's going to try to take this. He's rusing up. It's already missing.
I don't blame him. That is the second highest experience he can get from a solo fight, only second to Warmech, which we might just see out of these skydives.
Yep, Warmech, of course, is vanilla in these flag sets, so, you won't be able to just find him patrolling or have to fight him on the Bridge of Destiny, but, he will be, on the Bridge of Destiny, and sometimes he shows up 2 or 3 times.
And Pickles and Beer doing the one thing that everyone else isn't. He is going Volcano instead of Sky. It is also his first dungeon to dive instead of his second in the case of Ghost Pirate, so.
And he also saw this when Cerebus has had hold, and they had Ghost Pirates, well, pretty much held up.
Here's an interesting, Will Bloodworth, he didn't go Sky. He is actually checking the Onrak continent.
Yep, he's still looking for that shop item because he hasn't seen Elfland yet. He's not going to find it here. There is one spell that is Red Wizard learnable in Onrak. We have ADR using Exfer on Lich, so that's interesting. Oh, he's going to try to Quad X Lich. Lich's HP is still too high. You don't see Lich Quad X every day. This would be pretty amusing, but he's finished off first.
Speed bump down on ADR's side as Ghost Pirate also raiding that greater than less than room on Mirage 2, getting the Roost Stick and the ribbon. And Will Bloodworth making his way through the stores, finally going back to Elfland, finally getting that TNT that is going to turn into the Oxy Ale, at which point he will realize that he has Marsh or he has Ice Cave or the Waterfall to get the tail that he still likely wants.
Yeah. Oh, he went to Ice. He found the boat in there, which for him, since that's going to be a little extra experience, and he's going to obviously want to solo grind up that Red Mage, that's not too bad there because he was in there pretty quick with Warp, and of course he found that Ice +5.
And Pickles and Beer pulling carry, getting some Roost stacks out on both of his Red Mages. I'm trying to be as evasive as possible because she seems to be punchy.
Yep, but now she is missing. He cures up both of them with Cure 4, so it's probably going to be time to see if he does Saber or Temper or... Let's see, Power Bonk and Temper, so he is going to muscle up that bottom Red Wizard and let him take down Carry. Meanwhile, Ghost Pirate is on Sky 4, is heading to the Bridge of Destiny. Get your emotes out in chat if you want to see a robot chicken.
And as the robot chicken runs, as the carry fight on Pickles and Beer, ADR made his way into Volcano, checked the first chest trap tile, and found the eye.
Yep, so that'll be big to find, especially for Will Bloodworth, should he make that check.
And that is Pickles with a carry down. Volcano cleared his first orb up. He has access to all the orbs that he wants to go for. It looks like Pickles is going to take that redive to check what's in Armory and may just find that eye tile and be very happy. And in fact, he will. As we have a Tia pull here coming out of Ghost Pirates any moment now.
Yep, didn't see any robot chicken, unfortunately, but let's see if he does. He's going to Ruse, Temper, and Ruse. Pickles sees the eyes. Eye was a little thick. It took a attack for 241 and was still there, but that's still a very nice grind. Meanwhile, Will has his tail. He's happy to see that. Less happy to see the robot in his way. Meanwhile, Ghost Pirate is continuing to temper up his Red Mage attack. I didn't quite see the damage, but it wasn't spectacular. But enough temper in that Red Wizard, I should say, will be in orbit. 3 hits, 304. He's getting that. Looks like he's wheeling that Vorpal going.
Tia, being a dragon, unloading some flames on Ghost Pirate's party. And then, for some reason, whipping out the ink.
Yep. Top Red Wizard Q4s himself. 2 hits for, looks like 188 or so. So getting some pretty decent damage, just not getting a lot of swings, which you see the lack of. And Tia just bodied that second Red Wizard. I don't think he'd been rusing that one up.
No, I believe that one was focusing on tempering, and there is the final swing. That is a Dragon Queen down. That'll be the second orb lit for Ghost Pirate. He is a volcano dive away from Topher.
So we see Bloodworth has promoted, and he's deciding where to head next as ADR makes his way through Volcano. And looks like Pickles is using the lava tiles to reduce the HP of one character he doesn't want to keep, and is going to grind the other on that eye.
Don't blame him if he really wants to go with the focused experience. Having the bodies and the extra casters to resurrect party members, totally valid, but if you want to be fast and get a party up, or a member up, this is a good way to do it.
Yes, of course, eyes are notoriously bad at helping you dan off party members you don't want to grind.
Especially when your remaining party members you do want to grind can kill the eye in a single hit at this point. As Will Bloodworth has made his way to Volcano and will likely check this eye tile. Yes, he will, and he will be happy.
Yes, he will be very happy.
And as all of our racers are now in Volcano, as Ghost Pirates makes it there to get that third orb lit. And Pickles Beer has finished standing off that memory member, so it'll be a solo grind for both Pickles and Will Bloodworth at this point.
Yep. So he's... In fact, do I see... Is Will actually using that Vorpal? I could have sworn he had that ice sword equipped. Of course, he's not a fan, but he'll use it if that's his best option. He has said as much. Alright, ADR checking out the one chest in the Agama room. He's not bothering with the other.
And Ghost Pirate's doing what Pickles Beer did. He's going straight past Armory and going straight down to deal with the Fiend, because he is in go mode and doesn't really need anything at this point. Again, the only thing they don't have at this point from the panoply of Ultimate Awesome is the white shirt and the defense sword. So those extra evade items, they have the power bonk.
Of course, with the reduced vitality, Will and Pickles will have an advantage in Topher because they're going to have the higher level seeing the eyes that the others, may not, because, I still look at ADR's party. One nuke or even one nuclear could cause him a lot of trouble.
That is one of the big concerns. Unfortunately, we, as you said, did not remember a thing about those bats that we saw from, I believe, Will Bloodworth, as far as what those final fiends will have. But if you are under 400 HP, you can be critted out by a nuke or a nuclear.
Yes, and of course, there's also Kraken 2 hugs as well.
Very true, and technically all of these are white casters.
Yes. Of course, I'm sure Kraken 2 will look at a single red wizard in Will's tree and say, oh, he's not going to have life. I'll just, cast Fire 2 now. And then come out with the attacks or nuclears on multi-party mages.
And Will Bloodworth has reached 400 plus hit points on his party. What level that is, we shall see. I did not catch it.
I'm using the high 20s last I saw, but that was a few minutes ago, so he's probably in the 30s by now would be my guess.
Getting over 10,000 experience from that. Level 34.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if he took this all the way to 50 even, because he's just got the one character. You know, Topher's been nasty this turn sometimes. I mean, I've seen Kraken 2 body some knights, let alone a pushy red wizard.
Very true. And with that nuke comment, we could even just have a vanilla Lich 2 and just get hit by a nuke right out of the gate.
Yes, and then you think if you've seen races decided where Lich 2 leads off with something, unpleasant and, leads to a reset or a wipe further down, and, of course, the second runner never sees the bad thing out of Lich, or it doesn't, rolls low, and that's the deciding factor.
And ADR following through. He is picking up. Oh, he decided not to. He is going 3 red mages, has dealt with the carry, got a quad X kill on it just for good measure, as just behind him, Goat's Pirate also dealing with carry. ADR is out and gone. He is going to deal with a probably waterfall, I'd assume, trying to find the tail, which he has not seen. Yes, it seems that that's so. As Ghost Pirate, as said before, he just needed that volcano dive. He is now in full-on go mode.
Yep. Actually, ADR has his tail because he's promoted. Looks like he's probably going to on rack to do the dungeon there. And Saber teases Blizzard. That's never and mute. Saber teaser are annoying enough with the crits as it is.
Yeah. So ADR had not gone to Ordeal, so he didn't have the chime, which means he is going Sea instead of Sky, which is where Pickles is going currently.
Yep, see, not checking Mirage 1. We'll see if he checks greater than less than, which we know there's the rue stick and a ribbon in there, but of course, he's probably going to go. And I think he's seen 2 ribbons, so he doesn't need the 3rd ribbon, but of course, a rue stick, even with rues at level 1, is going to be nice.
Indeed, caster items are free charges of very critical spells. Willblower still grinding his way on that eye as we see the first and probably only instance of Sea Shrine coming out of ADR.
Yep, Will up to 46, so yeah, I see no reason why he would stop short of 50.
Is ADR checking? He is checking TFC.
Alright, and the mighty
womp.
Silver Dagger +1. And he promptly throws it out.
Oh, please tell me he's going to hug himself with bubbles. Because he is going right back down.
Yep, he just warped back to save himself the steps.
Cremate coming out on Pickles and Beer's party. Thankfully getting rid of those Cerberus with some lit. So that is a level 50 red page for Will Bloodworth.
Yep, only need 1 to win, especially at level 50.
And Pickles and Beer finding some loose metal slimes. He's definitely going to take that. That is an excellent experience, even with just Fire 2 to deal with it.
Yep, those slimes are vulnerable to fire, so that will work pretty well. And I didn't quite catch the level on his leveled up Red Wizard, but it's pretty decently high.
And Ghost Pirate, he may be in go mode, but he is actually down in Earth, going through the Hall of Giants to deal with some grinding, get his level on his party members up.
Will checking the weapon stats before deciding to go with an Ice +5. And there's a Bane +4 sword. That's actually going to be pretty decent as well. Of course, he's probably keeping it for the free Bane cast because, can use that against Tiamat.
Pickles and Beer making his way straight over the Bridge of Destiny, gets no encounters with Mormec, and we have a carbonated mermaid.
Alrighty, ADR, the people's hero for carbonating bubbles.
He did leave the Hray Dwarf stuck in his torments, but he at least freed the carbonation.
Bubbles Soda Company approves. Nothing much there. I mean, Wizard Staff, if you want to confuse Carrie, which has already gotten past the first Carrie fight.
And Pickles and Beer getting his fight with the Dragon Queen in action, getting a lot of tempers up, has some ruse out. And starting with that swing, 5 hits and 1100 damage. That is quite a lot. That is a thick Tia.
Yes. But she won't be able to take much more of that. 5 hits per week. She is still on her feet, but she cannot have much left.
The token swing with the top red mage doing only 4 or 5 damage, and there's another 500. That is a Dragon Queen down. That is an Earth Dive or a Sea Dive for Pickles and Beer away from Go Mode in his case.
Alright. Will going to check the bad hairpin because that is a better trap tile chest, so he could find something good in there.
And ADR finding the Agama tile guarding the Sharknado room boxes.
And there's the Opal Curio, so that's a very good find for ADR.
And one of those gold -1s. So that was a good spot just for some experience and gear.
Alright, Will hops out, saves, and is going to head back down. He's probably going to check more treasure. He's definitely going to has an eye on Carrie and looking to get rid of her. Light his first orb.
ADR still checking Sharknado, finding the bad eye, not the one he wants.
Yep. We know where the good eye is.
And Ghost Pirate has made it down to a one-man. He is doing solo grinds on these packs in Earth. Switching over to the Zombie Ds for their lower number, but reasonable experience option.
I don't quite see what he's using, but it's took him 3 rounds to take that first one down. And it's going to take 3 rounds, so this could be a slow grind. Not to mention, Zombie Ds can be dangerous. They can hit rather hard.
Very true. ADR is on the Kraken floor as Willblower picks up another Ice +5 sword. Not really useful for him, but fun to see. Finds a Pro Cape. That is an upgrade that's effectively the shield in form for a Red Mage.
Yep. Other than the buckler, that's what the Red Mages can use for shields.
And plus 12 protection is pretty substantial.
Yes, very substantial. Especially when you have something like a Kraken 2, get your turnover before you can ruse, you might find yourself with less than 12 HP.
Very easily done. Again, -10 vitality. That is literally the highest health that Will Bloodworth will have on his Red Mage. Just over 500 total.
Alright, ADR's pulled up to Kraken 1. He is healing up. Alright, so looks like some lightning's going to go with some lightning 3 strat. Kraken 1 is weak against lightning.
For lack of nuke, but that is a punchy and poisonous Kraken.
Yep, but that red, it's still going out with the lightning 3 strats, and that red wizard survives no longer. Meanwhile, there might have been a speed bump on Ghost Pirates' screen. I think we looking at Kraken and missed it. Quad X doesn't land, so Kraken still has over 3. This is getting really dicey here. Oh, bad turn order, and ADR wipes the Kraken.
That is our first wipe out of any of the Fiend fights.
Alright, maybe I got them mixed up and the Ghost Pirates just going out to heal, but there was a speed bump on Pickles and Beer's side. It's gone now.
And that puts Pickles in Orb and Iron Go mode. He has full cleared the game.
Yep,
Well,
so he's probably going to
minus
pick up.
1.
Yeah. Will finds a black shirt plus 5. That's would be great for. Did he just drop his power bonk? Did he drop for that? Or might have been the. I'm wondering what Will dropped. Again, you'd think would have had the power bonk equipped. So.
And
Or
our
the
first Topher dive at 53.48 from Pickles and Beer.
yep, the frost dragons or white dragons in Pickle's case have toxic. That's not very nice. Although with ribbons we don't really care that much.
And they have Nuke.
Yeah, we care about ribbons. Don't help against that. And with, I mean, Pickle's party has over 400 HP, but still, Nuke is going to hurt.
At least it's only on those dragons that he won't see all that often unless he has to keep rediving because they keep killing him. It could always happen.
Of course, we don't know what's further down in Topher. We could have, other things that cause redives. Will's taking on Carrie, using that power bonk. Swinging his sword, 5 hits, 440 something, so that's pretty good. He's going to try to finish her off with the quad X, and she is erased.
Banished into the nothingness of death. I was going to try and do something deep or funny, but I failed. Either way, that is Will Bloodworth's first orb up. ADR on his way back down, skipping the memes, going straight after a Kraken. Pickles past the gate, past the checks, is in the past, 2,000 years behind.
Yep, check the validation chest. There was just some money in there, and not the substantial gold that was in vanilla, way after you have any use for gold in the game.
And Will Bloodworth has made his way to Mirage Tower, is actually going to check those Mirage 1 chests, may check Mirage 2 and find that roost stick, we do not know. Either way, Pickles and Beer pulling a first fight in Topher. This is our speed bump, literally S bump in his case.
Yep, he's about what to do, and it's like he's just going to go out with some melee, not waste resources on a speed bump.
Not
5
when
hits,
he's
561.
Yeah, not when he's doing 500 plus damage out of that swing.
Nope, 4 hits, 58, not much, but 5 hits, only 112. So we see, as much as I like the Vorpal, I'll be one to admit, sometimes it's great, sometimes it critically fails when it doesn't crit.
Well, statistically, it's more or less a silver sword with boosted crit, so it's not by any means an endgame weapon in raw output. It is that crit value that is all that important.
Yep, and of course, with no fast, we won't have as many swings, even though the plus, 10 hit percent helps there. And Pickles shows carry 2 is Saber plus 5, and see this?
And getting lit 2 out of Kelly in his case, just out of Lich, and another Ink. This is a very interesting parity in their casts and skills.
Yes, of course, you still haven't seen anything nasty, so the question is going to be, we see a rub out of carry, which is, of course, just 3 and 256. But 3 and 256 does happen.
Indeedly do, and as he's fighting Carry, doing 425 damage in that swing, we have Kraken once again for ADR in the lower left.
All right, ADR versus Kraken, the rematch. This time he's going to come out with a white shirt, as well as a power bonk. Kraken hits that top wizard pretty hard. He's just barely surviving.
Did not see where he got that white shirt out of. It's definitely nice to have, as Pickles Mirror actually survived a nuclear before getting that kill on Carry 2.
Of course, they're the first real potential gatekeeper, although sometimes Carry 2 can be a gatekeeper as well, but, Kraken 2 is usually considered to be the first real potential gatekeeper. And Will is, meanwhile, in Gaia pondering things and resets out.
And ADR bonked out again. ADR is deciding, no, I'm done with this. I still have places to go. I still have ways to get into Sky. I'm going to do that instead.
Yes. Oh, ruses for Pickles and Beer, and this lower red mage gets hits hard, so he cures him up, and then another ruse, and the top red mage gets hit, but survives another ruse. This appears to be a punchy Kraken, so if we can survive long enough to get the ruses up, we'll be okay, as long as we don't get crit.
Will Bloodworth in greater than less than is going to check and find that ruse stick. He is not going to be unhappy about that.
Yep, there's the ruse stick.
Despite not having his normal thief or ninja, he went ahead and picked up that fire armor anyways. It's just ingrained in him. When he sees fire armor +3, he takes it.
Yes. Meanwhile, Pickles and Beer still against Kraken 2, inking. So Kraken 2 is using kills sometimes, not much. Still 2 hits through that evasion, but 5 hits, 1321. Goodbye, Kraken 2.
And as he goes on to face himself a Dragon Queen Mark II, Goat's Pirate finally makes it into Topher at 5912. As Will Bloodworth runs into a 6-pack of Metal Slimes and is running like he really doesn't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah, he doesn't want to deal with that. They're annoying. He's at level 50. Of course, Red Wizards aren't the best at running.
Ooh, there's the Toxic Frosties and the Nuke. Ghost Pirate's not happy to see those, very happy to see him running away, and then finds another pack, having not healed up after the first one.
All right, I missed what happened to Pickles and Beer's bottom red mage, but he's down to just the top against Tia 2. Sabering up. Of course, the bottom one was his main melee mage, so he's going to have to use a lot of sabers to up, and I'm pretty sure that was a miss menu because he waited.
That's RNG manipulation. Just straight up RNG manipulation. That's what he's going to claim, and we won't dissuade.
Yeah, we will not question that. 5 hits, 120. Not getting great damage output here. That's better. Oh, and a nuke from Tia 2 bounces him out.
And that is our second bounce out. Both times to Duke. That time it was from a Fiend. That is the crystal coming out of the fan for ADR. He is on his search to try and get that chime. Unfortunately for him, the crystal is not going to turn into the TNT, or into the chime. That will turn into the Vorpal eventually once he gets the crown. He won't be sad to see it, but...
yeah, it won't be the chime that he is desiring.
And Will Bloodworth has bounced out. So he is having to climb that Mirage Tower back into the sky yet again.
Yep, and he'll have to pick up the roost stick again if he really wants it, which I don't see why he wouldn't, because even 9 moves charges, I mean, you will run out if you try to go to max evade after you get through Tia 2.
Very true, and we have seen just how much those charges get used on these fiends so far.
Alright, Goat's Pyro's come up to a speed bump. He's just doing melee. Tickle attack from Lightning 2. Another attack. And the speed bump is down.
And interestingly enough, ADR did at some point pick up that 4th red mage, so he is having to stop here. And he has promotion, so he's getting every spell he can possibly get for his entire party.
Yep, probably picking that up as a meat shield would be my guess. Good thing, you do have a little more safety with 4 party members, but you also have a lot more inputs to put in battle.
Very true, and he is very accustomed to going very fast, he was the runner-up here in this tournament.
Yes, did a great run. Meanwhile, we have Ghost Pirate tempering up. Carry 2 coming out with the Lightning 2. More temper. Swing. 5 hits, 6.2. Carry's still there. He's got some thick fiends in this Topher.
And just carry down. Didn't see that nuclear, so he was able to get that killer faster. With that 3rd mage doing some damage, whereas Pickle only had the 2.
Of course, Will now up on Sky 4. Of course, if he sees a Warmech, I don't think he's going to take it because he has no need for the levels, he has no need for the money.
And he has also not thrown the Vorpal off the bridge yet, so he's probably keeping that one to the end.
Yep. He's no fan, but he will use it if he needs to. Meanwhile, Pickles taking on Speed Bump Mark II, as Ghost Pirate's taking on Kraken 2.
Getting that ink, which is totally thematically accurate.
Yep, and completely useless, especially with no enhanced darkness.
Stack and Temper and
Yep.
Saber on that. And there's a punch for one of those red mages down, but it is not the one that has been stacked up for melee. That one just took a big hit, though, getting that roost stack out on it.
Of course, Kraken has to ponder, since they're all life casters, who do I attack?
The one that just did 600 plus damage to it, and all that. Oh, and nuclear, that'll do a
Yep.
lot of damage, but it actually rolled really low. That is an excellent thing to see in that moment.
Yes, only 2 hits that time, and only 3 hits this time, and with some roost stacks, Kraken 2's getting some swings in. Meanwhile, Will's taking on Tia 1. He's going to try to bane her. I love it.
It looks like that big red mage on Goat's Pirate side made it 46, so it's over 500, almost 550 HP. That is by no means small. Gets his third mage back up, gets healed up, and is on to Tia 2, the one that bounced Pickles and Beer right out of Topher.
Yep. Starting out with Ruse, Temper, and Ruse. And he was like, I know which red wizard's going to try and kill me, and tried to attack the one in the back. Here's it up. Ruse is the second one. Ruse is that one again. Stun does nothing. If Temper deciding Saber, and of course there was that middle one was Temper again. Pickles all the way through Kraken 2 now. Tia takes, that's correct, Carry 2. You know, Tia takes out the lead red wizards. Like, I'm tired of these red wizards always trying to attack me. Bodies the middle one pretty hard. More Rouge for the main melee. 4 hits, like 658. There's Zap. Misses. Going all on offense, 1 damage, not quite enough to do it. 2 hits, 1 or 2, that's also not quite enough to do it. 2 hits, 2 damage, still not enough to do it. Just saying that Tia's still there. This is, you know, pretty chunky Tia.
Thick queen.
There's 202. Oh! Does that red wizard have a ribbon, or is that a 3 and 250? Not in 3 and 256. Well, the one that really needed to survive did.
And got the kill, getting that man mode off on it. As Will Bloodworth, I noticed, he killed Tia and then ran all the way back up to greater to less than to pick up the roost stick he bypassed.
Yep, and it looks like he's in the area of Onrak. He has the Bane Sword. He's going to take on Kraken, because he knows he can ruse up, and then the Bane Sword will eventually kill him. Pickles man mode versus Kraken 2. Miss swing, 4 hits, 372. 3 hits, 563. Takes down Kraken 2, so Pickles and Beer through Kraken 2. Going to go for the rematch against Carry 2. Meanwhile, Goat's Pirate is about to take on Chaos.
This is a totally tight race.
Yep, anything can happen. I mean, there's still some nukes and nuclears, not to mention Swirl, Tornado, and Cure 4 that we haven't seen yet.
And for those who weren't here earlier, we actually have more than these 4 racers competing in this on-stream or off-stream.
Yes, you have 8 racers in total. Alright, so we have Ruse, Temper, and Ruse coming up from Goat's Pirate. That's been his strategy that serves him well. Ruse, Ruse, and Ruse. Rob doesn't hit.
Using up those casts for the evasion. He does have that power bonk, I believe, on that third red mage, so he can switch to using that. Getting some temper out once he's got all of his evasion stacks up. Yep. Evidently he did not have the saber bonk on that one.
Yep. Middle red wizard gets bodied. Which, as Will would tell everyone, you only need 1 to win, and he's buffing up that lower one. 241 damage, and now we are in man mode.
And getting only 2 or 3 hits for only 200, well, that was 150. This is an evasive fiend.
Yes. Meanwhile, Pickles and Beer is also the Chaos. He's leading off with the Ruse. Chaos comes out with an Ice 2. Ruse. Meanwhile, Ghost Pirate, Chaos can use Quad X, which isn't going to work. 3 hits, 561. Blizzard. And Ruse is on top. It's few. Meanwhile, Pickles is still rusing. Now he's switching over to the Power Box. And Ghost Pirate terminates Chaos. Get your GGs out in chat for Ghost Pirates with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 58 minutes, 59 seconds. That is good enough for second overall. Coming in the first was Ailmarket at 58 minutes, 18 seconds. So GGs to him as well. Pickles and Beer
race, and a tight one. As ADR actually took a moment before going over here to try and deal with this Kraken again, stopped in a volcano to level up his four members of his party a little on that eye.
Yep, not a bad idea. If you keep on having issues, you might as well go and grind up a bit. Meanwhile, Will is trying to Bane Kraken.
As Pickles and Beer gets that kill on Chaos, coming in on third overall, second on stream. GG's to Pickles and Beer.
Yeah, actually, quick correction, at least according to Racetime GG, Budgemano got in at 1 hour, 9 minutes, 44 seconds, 1 second ahead of Pickles and Beer.
The closeness is real. And Will Bloodworth down on a knee, poisoned by that Kraken, getting that Cure 4 out to bring himself up to full stats, getting some more casts out. He's going for that Bane strat hard. He wants to pull it off. He needs to pull it off. For everyone's sake, he just needs it.
Yes, love the Bane strats personally. Comes another one, still ineffective. I think I've seen, I'm not sure how many Banes I've seen miss in a row. I remember seeing 16 Brax miss in a row.
And there it is, the Bane kill on Kraken 1, getting him into go mode. He can finally go and deal with Topher, as ADR is on his way back down for the third time to try and deal with the Kraken.
So Will's probably just going to buy some heal pots and head straight into Topher, depending on his supply. If he thinks he's good, he might, just go ahead into Topher. I see in chat, Zardia pointing out Cure for Tia 2. Ick, yes. I mean, Tia 2, not a trivial boss this time around. Will, checking out the hint bats.
If he wasn't the one who did it before, he's definitely doing it now after the hour or so. I mean, he didn't even come to Toph until he had the airship already, so his route was quite interesting. He actually, for those who weren't here, he went straight to the king and picked up the floater before even going to Toph to rescue Princess Sarah.
Yes, it actually turned out to be a very good play. He realized he didn't have to rescue Princess Sarah right away. Of course, there's always the possibility the king gives you the boat and then the princess gives you the floater, but that's not so likely. Alright, Will not validating the seed. He's just going on, playing the whistle, getting down into Topher. Meanwhile, we have ADR ready for the second rematch with Kraken coming up here pretty shortly. And a restreamer Kumo pointing out in chat, you don't need to do damage Bane hits. That is so true.
ADR getting healed up, pulling himself a Kraken yet again. This time with 4 party members and even one above 400 health. He has got everything he can to try and get it. As the speed bump is pulled by Will Bloodworth in Topher. 5 hits, 400 plus damage. Solid damage coming out on that Fiend. Another 8 swing. Didn't get the damage in to get the kill. Gonna, 97. Yeah. That is not all that much. I believe he's still running the Ice Sword on here. I don't think he has switched over to the Vorpal, so he's not getting any elemental bonuses or extra crit.
Nope, but now he switched it. Yeah, now it's the Vorpal. I mean, Yeah, so maybe that's a note in chat to ask Will about using that Vorpal. Of course, then again, with the ice doing what it did, yeah, I wouldn't blame him for using the Vorpal.
Now, the ice wouldn't be a horrible pickup or to use on carry 2, but beyond that, that's Vorpal all the way.
Alright, Will's making his way towards that carry 2. Meanwhile, ADR with the not usually seen Fog 2 strap, but with, you spam that enough, that will actually help with the damage, and it will reduce, since half of crits ignore armor, but half of crits don't, so it'll actually make crits hurt a little less.
In general, the preference is to cast Ruse or Fog or Ruse or Invis to try and evade being hit altogether, but if you can increase your Absorb, then it makes a difference.
Yes, it does. Especially, getting bad luck with the crits. I mean, Invis 2 is level 1, but I think, they grabbed other spells and weren't able to learn that. I'm trying to remember where Fog 2 was.
Invis 2 was totally slot 1 learnable in level 1, so...
Yep. Fog 2 is level 6, so... It was actually, quite the higher level. He's going to have fewer charges of that, but...
And Will Bloodworth bonks his way out of Topher.
Yep, he's probably taking a moment to think about his strategies here. Probably wishing he had fast. Probably wishing he had a ninja with a rolled up katana.
Yeah, we didn't actually see the katana at all, so...
Yep, so we don't know what it rolled, and of course, for those joining late and don't know, there is no Masa in this flag set.
Let alone the fact that there is nothing but red mages, because they chose to have only red mages and only be able to recruit red mages.
Yep, it is red mages all the way. I mean, this is the bonus race, which always features one class. This is the 6th one, and the red mage, perhaps not being too popular, was the 6th out of 6 classes used. Meanwhile, we have ADR about to enter Topher.
Yeah, got that kill after all that hard work on the Sea Kraken. Is going on his way to try and deal with another Kraken eventually.
Yes.
As Will Bloodworth bonks out to a combination of Wiz Vampires and Zombie Ds.
That can be a pretty dangerous group. No, Will, he's going to keep on going until he gets through.
Will Bloodworth, one of the instigators of getting this event going.
Yep, facing some gargoyles on the trap tile. He's just like... And they run away before he can because, well, red wizards can't run that great.
ADR taking a moment to shuffle around his stuff, getting that white shirt down on that bottom red mage for full stacks of Invis 2.
Right, Will gets away from the Frosties before he learns that they have nuke.
He would fear toxic enough, let alone the nuke that comes after it.
Yes, I mean, sure he's got the ribbons Toxics 3 and 256, but enough of those and it will happen.
I mean, he has to get some luck payback for how many times he played or he used Ruse. Or, sorry, Bane.
Oh, if he was getting luck payback, I think it would have been some earlier Banes than what he got, so...
Fair enough.
Right, but both Will and ADR are on the Earth floor here. You're fighting some Gurmadusas, which are great experience. Of course, if there was one seed this tournament where they had nuke, that wasn't too pleasant, but fortunately they weren't ambushing and didn't show up much.
For anyone who wants to say that ADR rolling this seed did him any favors, it obviously did not.
Nope, you probably could say that, oh, you see, I made it challenging on myself. I don't think Wheels realized when he wiped, he went back to the ice sword. Of course, he got some pretty decent damage there. 5 is 411. He's actually through speed bump 2 before ADR is. Who in that speed bump has damage poison, which is annoying, but we know where all the ribbons are. ADR through speed bump 2.
And Will making it back to Kraken. Didn't swap the sword around. Is just going to go ahead and use that ruse stick, take some lightning. Get some evasion stacks up, get some buff stacks up. Got both the power bonk and the ruse stick in hand for his one-man roll.
It only did 2 ruses, which I like because usually you're going to be missing a lot after 2 ruse casts. Especially ruse will might also be used to ninjas where they're essentially it's already 3 ruse casts, and we see Nuclear and Inferno out of carry 2.
The disadvantage of having only one person to swing or attack is you see more of those casts, more of those moves that carry or any of the fiends could do. So getting deeper into that spell and skill tree.
But he gets through carry 2, drinks a bunch of heal pots, which is much easier with just one character, and is now onto the seafloor. He's going to make himself a Kraken 2, who's going to look at his Red Wizard and say, "Why didn't you have life?"
And as Will Bloodworth makes his way into Kraken 2, we have a forfeit from Lord Fizzlebeef off stream. Good race, Lord Fizzlebeef. I'm sorry you couldn't finish it out for us, but based on what we've seen with our streamers live, we know just how hard it's been for you.
Yes, I mean, Will just got bodied by Kraken 2 round 1. And Will is... I don't know if he's pondering his strategy or what, but we still have ADR on carry 2, cheering up his top wizard, attacking 4 hits, 708 look like. 3 hits, 142, finishers are off. Now he's going to be on the Kraken 2.
Taking his moment to heal pod hip his second red mage. Having to maneuver around to that third that third slot's always the hardest to get to.
Yes, it is. Alright, Will re-entering Topher. I mean, what else could he really do? He just had bad RNG against Kraken 2. I mean, he's max level, he's got the ruse stick, he's got ribbons.
I mean, the only desperation play he really has left at this point is to go and pick up the red mage out by the king and the one over by Bicky, because he has 2 quick-ish places he go to get him. And just increase his party numbers. Then he's have to deal with getting all the magic and grinding, which he really doesn't want to have to do.
No, and he doesn't want to pick up any more red mages either. I mean, only need 1 to win. Alright, ADR on the Kraken 2.
Choosing invis stacks for those he has it, so he wants to get evasion on everyone, even if it's less evasion per cast than ruse. It is a party coverage spell.
So if he gets 3 of them off like he did, they're actually better off, and he can still, power bonk his, melee mage.
And that is the melee mage down.
Yep, so he needs to go to a backup melee mage, and Bujimano and Chap point out Will isn't picking anyone up. Turn order's the only way to get through this fight. Ilmarkin agrees, and so do I. And Cardi Mark, well, basically, needs to get the ruse stick off first, and maybe hope for that, something more benign like that nuclear. Kraken 2 is about the only time you're glad to see a nuke or nuclear come out, because at least he's not attacking.
And given the fact that all of these characters have Cure 4 and get fully stacked up, it takes a turn to get it done, and there's a chance that one of them's going to die before they get it casted out. But he can cure up any status effects, get his party back up on their feet, and then back to buffing.
Yes, and he has sabers, he has temper, so even though his main melee mage is down, he will be able to buff up the others. Damage won't be quite as effective, but he will be able to do it. I don't think he picked up anything like an Ice +5, which would have been very helpful here for a backup melee, and Kraken 2's still too high for Quad X.
But at least he's trying it. And of course, they do have life cast. At least he should have life cast on one of his party members at this point. It was the one tier 7 or one tier 6 white spell that you really needed overall.
Yep. Crit gets through on that top red wizard. That's where Fog 2 would have reduced that, but again, there still would have been some pretty good damage going through. Lock 2 coming out, trying to get some hits in. I think I saw a flame sword coming out. I could be wrong. Oh, that's a rune sword. Kraken 2 is the one Topher boss that doesn't get hit well by the rune sword. Meanwhile, Will Bloodworth cannot get away from these Agamas.
At this point, I'm half wondering why Adiator isn't using that Bane sword.
Yep. I mean, Bane is 3 and 256 versus Kraken 2, but you never know. But that is enough to get rid of Kraken 2 and get ADR through and on to Tia 2.
Damage overall. Using that Cure 3 on there to heal up his Red Mage after reviving it, saving the Cure 4 cast for critical in-battle use as he makes his way down to the floor to deal with a Kraken, or a Tia 2.
Yep, meanwhile, let's get by that Iron Gull first. That was one of the last monsters I could ever find in vanilla, for the obvious reason. Guardian Marcus in chat's saying, I just went to 50 with one Red Mage, wasn't going to take any risks. Of course, Guardian Marcus finished off street in 5th place overall, with an official race time.gg time of 1 hour, 19 minutes, 7 seconds, so GG, Guardian Marcus.
That level 50 solo Red Mage facing off against Carry 2 again for Will Bloodworth, trying to get that kill in on it. 4 hits for 780 plus damage. Getting 3 hits in, 190, Carry 2 down. As ADR is stacking tempers, got his evasion up, getting zapped. That is 2 of his mages down, but his primary melee mage is still up, getting temper, getting power bonks. Let's see where he goes from here. Choosing to saber the third or the fourth one, trying to get some extra backup melee damage in.
Yep, I like it. It's not going to be much, but every little bit helps, and that's. I mean, it was like 85 damage. That's not a ton, but can just push her over the threshold. You never know. Of course, 21 isn't going to be too helpful. Bane misses. Critical for 195 does not. It's 87, 140. Oh boy, that wasn't good.
This is a thick dragon yet again.
Yep, and of course, we know, I don't know if ADR knows that, Tia does have Cure 4, but doesn't matter, she's gone. Well, Will get crit by crack, but he survived the initial rounds, but boy, he's going to have to burn a lot of Cure 4 charges.
Getting that evasion off after getting that cure off, which is huge. Doesn't have to waste another turn going for that. Choosing to temper up. Actually, no. Switching to swing.
And, well, Will's doing lock 2 on Kraken 2. I like it. Nuclear, low rolled nuclear. That's nice. Kraken misses. Will attacks. 4 hits, 195. 4 hits, 290. Kraken misses again. Get Roost stack up. Kraken, a melee happy Kraken, not bad. 4 hits, 508. 4 hits, 128. And keeps missing.
Now, as we get that Chaos pull from ADR with Will Bloodworth killing the Kraken 2, I just noticed he shifted his armor around. He still had chain armor on his primary melee Red Mage. He went ahead and shifted that opal he got out of C onto it, so he finally has some actual endgame armor on that primary fighter.
Yep. It's an easy thing to forget, but saw that melee mage get hit hard a couple times. Will, meanwhile, crack in Tia 2, power bonking up. He is already missing. Bane misses. Lightning 2. Invis 2 stats going off against Chaos. And go ahead and take Chaos. I'll keep an eye on the Will versus Tia 2. We'll see if she pulls out the Cure 4 and the Nuclear.
Okie doke. It looks like ADR has finished up his Invis stats, switching to Tempers, and some heal spells, try and keep his party alive, kept counteracting some of these lower power spells that Chaos is throwing. Goes for punch, gets the miss, gets that temper off, really trying to stack up his primary, gets the power bonk off on it. More temper coming out, does not have any fast, none of these red mages could get it, so this is all about power overall. As it would be known for anyone who follows World of Warcraft, power overwhelming. Or Warcraft in general. More temper, going out with the lock cast and temper, power bonk. At some point he's going to have to swing, but when he swings, that's going to be the single most jacked red mage that has ever existed in this game.
Yep, you can look for that red mage to send Chaos into orbit. Meanwhile, Will is through Tier 2, heading into Chaos floor himself. He's going to take on Chaos.
Getting 3 heals out of heal 3 and a swing. Let's see how the Swool Mage does it. Chaos pulled for both runners now as Will gets some evasion in, and Bane comes out, misses everyone on ADR side, gets that swing out, only 390 damage, nothing spectacular, gonna go ahead and lock everything. Swing, lock, lock, lock. Ice 2 only tickling, definitely something good for ADR to see. So far, only that swirl, or I can't remember which it was doing any real damage to it. 4 hits for 700 plus damage. That is much more acceptable on ADR's side.
4 hits over 1,000 for Will Bloodworth. Then 3 hits, 416. Slow 2, I hope that missed. I didn't see. Uh-oh. Yeah, slow 2 hit on Will's side, so that is not good. Meanwhile, we have... I mean, it could be bad for ADR 2, but he has 4 that can do melee versus 1.
Stop hitting that top red mage, but the rest of his party's up. Gonna do a full swing. Gonna get the kill off. That is a GG for ADR, coming in at 7th overall in this group fate, with Will Bloodworth still going in. Or pardon me, 6th with Lord Fizzlebeast's earlier forfeit. Can Will Bloodworth overcome that halving of his hit capabilities on an already low swing total character running pure melee strats?
I mean, he's getting some good crits, so... I mean, really, Chaos hasn't shown anything too scary. I mean, they're slow 2 again, so it's just a matter of whether he outlasts, basically the nuclears and any crits to come through, or get 3 and 256, before he, can kill. And there it goes, GG! Will terminating Chaos with official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, 15 seconds. GG to all our runners.
That is an incredibly close end. We had literally a racers end seconds apart earlier, and this is another barely a minute apart at that.
Alrighty, we are joined in the booth by Will Bloodworth. GG, Will.
He left. He's still looking for his thief that he couldn't have, that he really wanted the entire time.
Yeah, or he's having audio issues. GG, Will.
Hey, thank you, GG, everybody else. I really didn't want to take last place, and I was very, very close not to.
Yeah, well, I mean, you Fizzle forfeited, so you didn't quite take last place if you count that.
I don't ever count that. No. Of all finishers.
Okay. Well, still, it was pretty close. I mean, had you not been hit by that slow 2, maybe you do slip it in front of ADR. Who knows?
No question about it, I would have, yeah, because I did 1,010 damage on the hit before that. So, yeah, 1 more, 2 more like that, and he'd have been gone, and I would have been about 15, 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds ahead. That's frustrating.
Yeah, RNG is going to... RNG.
Oh my god, RNG. This. Oh.
Now you can blame him because he did roll the seed.
Run luck was just the worst.
Not to mention all the times you had to try to Bane Kraken 1 and Tia 1 and it just didn't land.
I was bound and determined to Bane both of those guys. That was set in stone no matter what. I was going to do that.
We do appreciate the effort.
Thank you.
Of course, If it makes you feel any better, it was ADR's Red Wizard named Will who struck the final blow.
It doesn't, but thanks. GG ADR.
Pickles and beer in chat saying, I actually had pretty damn good run luck.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good. I'm happy for you. I was running my head into a wall. There were a lot of fights where I failed 5+ times in a row. It cost me a few runs. It cost me one run in Topher where Grey Worms killed me. I got first turned by Kraken for just enough HP to kill me in one shot without getting my ruse up first. So that kind of sucked. There were a lot of things, if they broke just a little bit differently, I would have finished a lot sooner, but
No doubt. None of the runners really truly had the greatest luck, especially given you were all running the red mages, and the only thing you had was a plus to your what was it? Plus
HP.
to your hit percent,
yeah,
but no fast to take advantage of it.
No fast. I had no. I didn't have access to nuke. Didn't have access to really any good sweeper spells at all. Yeah, it was brutal. I was looking. I wasn't going to go down there without a ruse stick and a bonk. So that's why I kept looking until I found ruse. There was no way I'm going down without it. Even with the ruse spell, I'm not doing that.
Oh yeah. I mean, with the ruse spell, I mean, you're only going to have at most 9 charges, and
Yeah,
you using 3 against each of the fiends, you run out after tier 2.
that's right. Yeah, you can try to speed and power your way through carry, but then again, like, you don't want to leave yourself that close. The reason I wanted fast wasn't necessarily. I mean, obviously, I want to do a lot of damage very quickly, but it was because of a slow 2 hitting me in the dungeon. Because I knew if a slow 2 hit me, I was pretty much doomed. And I was lucky that I did enough damage prior to it. Because if he hit me before that 1,000 landed, I would have been dink-a-dunking him with spells and 1 crit at a time until he finally died, if I could survive.
Unfortunately, you did get the big attack off first, so what did you... had you seen the katana, what would have been your reaction?
Well, I did see it. It was -3, and I pouted on screen. I pouted because not only could I not equip it, but it was also bad, as is history. That's the way
Usually
it
it's when there are thieves that it's bad.
Usually, yeah. It's usually when I'm in a race that the katana rolls low. Kind of a rule. Yeah, it was fun. This was a little history lesson for people who haven't been here since 2017-18. The first bonus stream that we did for the very first tournament which was actually held in fall, had a bonus stream, and it was originally just going to be the winner of the tournament, Tristal, who was going to run 4 thieves. Prior to the final 4, I said that if I ended up winning, I'd run 1 thief. And back then, that meant something. Like they didn't have any buffs, and the evade cap was not lowered. There's a lot of stuff that 144 was just way worse. So that bonus stream, February of 2018, kind of made my name. And since then, I've been in all of them through every tournament, save for the last one where we didn't have one. So this is all 6 characters solo. For every tournament we've had a bonus stream for, and oldest tradition other than the tournament itself. So I'm always happy to be a part of it and finish up with a solo every time.
Well, we're happy to have you. And of course, I'm not the planning on the planning committee. I'm curious if they will do something like that for the next, winter or spring tournament, because these are fun to watch. I've enjoyed watching you run the solo ones over the years as well.
Mm-hmm. I have to imagine we'll still do something. Obviously, we'll need to either roll back to the beginning where we all vote among the 6 classes which is the solo class that everyone runs, or maybe added challenges. Like, there's a lot of now that the tradition is effectively over and we've done all 6 classes, the door's open. We have a lot of creative people in this community in terms of coding and in terms of ideas. So it would be no surprise to me if we came up with something even better than what we've been doing the last 6 years. I really think that this event is one of the most fun things in the entire community, and I wish more people participated in it or knew about it, but yeah, it's just great. I love it.
Yeah, a few comments in chat. Zardia is saying time loop dictates these for next bonus stream. And ADR had the actually interesting idea. We might use some of the new transmogrifier classes too, which we actually do have new classes now that could be run solo.
Are we running like off of the Final Fantasy remake that Pink Puff did, like with the one with the 12 classes? Because that would be interesting.
No, these are new classes altogether. I don't think it's like the 12 classes like that one. These are new classes. They have new promo classes.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they're just.
It's interesting.
Of course, it's still in, Bait's still in work, but I think by next spring tournament, they'd be ready to go.
We got a whole year to figure it out. if it isn't by then, and we tend to develop faster than people learn that the features are even there in the first place. So I'm fairly confident they'll have things ironed out of beta into main into production fairly soon. And I was toying with the idea of this being my last race ever in FFR. I don't know if it's going to be or not. If we keep doing bonus streams, it would be really tempting to come back and do it. But I mean, I feel like I have to kind of make way for all the new players who've come into the community and let them make names for themselves, get out of the way, because I've had my time and I had a lot of it. So maybe it's time to let them step up and make their own history.
Well, if we have these bonus streams in the future, still love to see you no matter what you do, because sure, there are new players come in and make their names, but we have a lot of people in these bonus streams, so I think they would enjoy racing against the person who behind the bonus stream, especially who brought in the whole run the solo character part.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, I come watch. Like it really. I mean, I know myself, and I probably will end up playing in it. It's so hard not to do something you've done for so long, especially if it's just once a year. But yeah, worst case scenario, I will watch it. Like, this is my favorite event of the year. So yeah, hell or high water, I'll be here.
Maybe you could join us in the booth. I think that would also be a lot of fun.
Maybe I'll go in the booth while I'm running. I did that once before too. That was fun.
Hey, that sounds like a fun time. But we have a year to flesh out these ideas. You have great ones. So anyway, Fabian, do you have any thoughts?
Honestly, having dealt with watching 4 racers go at it full bore on a seed that would have challenged even if it wasn't all red mage, I just have to applaud you and every other racer who competed, either on stream or not, for having just the go to get it done.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I always have a lot of fun in these races, and giving yourself the handicap of only running one character, which has always been the fun part for me. Trying to beat at least one person. I never did. 6 races, I came close twice. This time, and the time when we ran the Black Mages, I hit a brack on Chaos, like just a few minutes after the last finisher finished.
I thought you did beat some people on that one. Maybe my memory's off.
Maybe some offline players, but I don't remember that being the case. I mean, it's possible. I know that there were a lot of forfeits because it's really hard to push Black Mages through TOF with no support, with no healing, with no tanking. They have terrible HP pools, and I got a lucky run. I think it was like my second or third dive. I got a really lucky run, and then obviously hitting the brack, that really made it. I knew it was going to be impossible if I didn't get some ridiculous luck, and I did. So
yeah, had you gotten that ridiculous luck on your first dive, of course you wouldn't have known how bad Chaos was. You would have won that race over everyone, I think.
That's correct. Yeah, I would have. It's crazy to think about. And that was probably the best chance I had of winning a race. Like, I'm not going to beat Pickles and Beer in this type of setup, when especially when I'm at a handicap. Like that's not going to happen. I'm not going to beat some of the better players in this community. It's just virtually impossible. And that's not to say that the people who finished like 5th and 6th and so forth didn't put in a good effort. Like Ale finished sub-hour. That's insane. And Goats Pirate, Budgemano, like all great runners. Just getting anywhere near their times is an achievement, and I didn't. Yeah. So Ale beat me by I think 33 minutes or so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's some magic going there.
Mm-hmm. Had a lot of fun.
Yep. But Kumar, our restreamer, points out in chat, doing because you had fun is all that matters. And that is so true. I mean, I know you had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. David had a lot of fun. But anyway, any final thoughts from anyone before we wrap it up?
One way or the other, you put on an excellent show, and we'll always be glad to see you coming around.
Thank you. Appreciate
Seconded.
it.
Amen to that.
Thank you. Well, it's been real. Even if this is it, I mean, it's been fantastic. I've loved being a part of this community. It's pulled me through some really dark times, as I know it has for other people too. And the support that people have, human beings helping human beings and being supportive of one another. It's very real. It's very helpful, and I don't think people realize it until they need it, and it's there for them, and they take advantage of that, and they see what that actually does mean. So like it goes beyond the game. The community goes beyond the game, and the longer you stay around and the more friends you make here, you realize that. And I've been here since time immemorial, so I can vouch for it. I've seen people come and go, and I've made a lot of good friends here that I will never, ever, ever lose touch with. So if you're just watching this for the first time, but just pop in the Discord, say hi, make some friends, and just make it a place to be. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Very well said. True words have not been said. I mean, I joined the community about 4.5 years ago, and I was welcomed from the start. The people have been great. I mean, you talk about never running. I mean, I've never run myself, but I decided for this winter tournament, I'd hop in and do, actual comms for the first time. I mean, the first time I was ever on the air was when we did that overnight marathon race last year, and I'm looking forward to doing something like that again.
Yeah, those are always fun. I like marathons. That's something I was going to run a 20. There was an idea that I'd had about running a 24-hour, all 6 classes run back when seeds were not, sub-hour all the time. So it would have been tough. I also thought about doing maybe all 12, like running them promoted and unpromoted as a charity marathon stream. But I never got around to doing it, and life happening makes that very difficult nowadays. But maybe, who knows? Could happen.
It does. I know we have another marathon coming up, and at some point, I believe it's a few months, but if you like what you see, I believe there's also something coming up for newer players that might want to get into this racing game.
That would be the Duckling Derby, the Duckling program. New people coming onto the Discord, joining the community, can join in, get training, compete in weekly events to learn the ins and outs of the randomizer, what different seeds can be, what flags can do, race seeds like this one, ones with randomized map locations, tons of different crazy things, with the help and training from members of the community, with the big moment for it being the Duckling Derby that's going to be starting in a few weeks now, where you can compete. You'll learn different, more advanced seed rules, different flag sets, and the end result being we Ducklings, myself included, please come and join us. We'll actually be in our own little Twitch stream tournament. A little less crazy and chaotic as the Chaos Winter Carnival was, but the Duckling Derby is always a great thing to compete in and watch and enjoy. So everyone, please go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, check out the randomizer, check out the Discord, and join us and enjoy what we have come to love.
The Duckling program has been around since I think 2018 or 19. It was I really wish that it had been there when I joined. I would have learned some fundamentals that I still don't have. and a lot of people who jumped into it far surpassed the people who were already here who didn't have the advantage of the wisdom and the book and the hard knocks that the players that came before them did, who set up the Duckling program. So it's been a pay it forward thing ever since then, and it's been, I think, the one thing that's truly kept people interested in continuing to play the game is having a hand up for the newer players to figure out, learn the ropes a bit, learn some of the tricks of the trade, and having that's such a big deal in a community like this. You don't have this in other communities, really. Not that I'm aware of, at least.
I'm not aware of it either. So, all right, Will, Fabian, any final thoughts?
Well, as a guy who literally joined the community the month before this whole event started and just got in on comms, got in on tracking, got in enjoying and learning and experiencing what the randomizer can be, I'm in awe with what the racers have done today, and I hope to be good enough to be able to compete with all of you in the future. And for anyone else who wants to join in, we've already been on the spiel, so please come and enjoy.
Just kick it off by saying thank you, FFR community. Thanks to all of you guys who jumped in here semi last minute to staff this race. It was one of those things where I had to change. It had to be pushed back a week because of work schedules. And I appreciate you guys jumping in and doing that. And to the Final Fantasy Randomizer community at large, everybody who runs it, all you admins who pour in thankless, tireless hours, Dark Moon, Fizzle Beef, Danny, talking to you. Keep realizing that people appreciate it more than you'll probably hear about it. We love you, and you're the reason that the engine keeps purring. So thank you so much. And to everybody else who kind of keeps the wheels rolling on this machine, thank you. Thank you for everybody who's been a part of this community, past, present, and future, hopefully. And I owe very much to this group that I don't have enough words to say how much I appreciate the fact that this community exists. So thank you, everybody. And if I'm not back again for another race, then it's been fantastic. And I wish everybody else here the best of luck. Thank you.
Very well said. I'm going to say, even if you don't race again, it would be great to have you, with you on comms or something like that,
Sure.
or the race crew. I mean, again, I'm going to also echo the same sentiments. This has been a great tournament. The admins put in tireless work and long hours. I'm actually glad this bonus race was pushed back, because I would not have been able to watch it when it was originally scheduled because I was traveling. But I got home, I saw that it was pushed back. I was like, well, I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to do comms. Why not?
Yeah. I'm glad
So
you were
I
able
joined
to.
up. I know Fabian's new. I've been in the community, but I hadn't been on really comms or anything like that. I'd done tracking for a marathon and hosted, but I hadn't been on, a real race crew until this tournament. I've jumped in. I've really enjoyed myself. I've, come to Fabian several times. You've been in the booth a few times, Will, and it's been great. And I also like to give shout outs to, our trackers, Will and Wildham and Forsaken Silence for keeping us honest, up to date. And of course, our restreamer Kumo, I believe, is also fairly new. So we had some pretty, new people on the crew, and I think it went great.
It's representative of how far we've come. Yeah.
Sorry, and of course, we cannot forget to thank RPG Limit Break for letting us stream on their channel so everyone can enjoy, and even those outside of our community could hop on and take a look at what's going on.
Alrighty, for my co-coms, Fabian Hawk, our streamer Kumos, and our trackers Wild Ham and Forsaken Sadness, and of course the solo man himself, Will Bloodworth. This is Classic Gamer 76, wishing everyone a great evening.